Bodhisattva is a soul who has attained moksha, who has attained salvation, squared off the account. But the person, that Jivatma, is so distressed to see the kind of people in pain on earth that they go to God and they say, give me one more birth. In this birth I will not build karma, there will be no good and bad karma in my life. In this one birth I want to elevate mankind. And when those souls are born, those bodhisattvas are born, they kind of create an never like before impact in the world. So for example, Swami Vivekananda was an example of a bodhisattva. In Hinduism it is believed that all those prophets of Sikhism like Guru Nanak, Guru Gobind Singh, they were bodhisattvas. Hinduism believed that Lord Buddha was a bodhisattva. And if you look at their life, what they have done is like nobody else. Yes, they have actually taken mankind from year to year in that one extra birth that they took for themselves. In fact, Swami Vivekananda, I don't know how many of you have read him or heard about him. He's one of his kind. He died at the age of 39, and he knew 7 or 8 years before his death that he is not going to live beyond 39 years. He used to tell people that I have to finish off my work before the age of 39. He's a very liberated kind of a researcher and a person who's done a lot of writing around power of the human mind. He was a scholar on Vedas. All of you would have known him for his famous Sisters and Brothers of America speech, which he gave in Chicago. In fact, there's a very, very interesting story to Swami Vivekananda. People know Swami Vivekananda, but very few of them people know Ramakrishna Paramhans, who was Swami Vivekananda's Guru. And who was Ramakrishna Paramhans? So here again, let me share this with you because you will not hear this ever again in your life. Ramakrishna Paramhans was a Tantra Sadhak. So he used to, there are two ways of attaining God. One is through Mantra Sadhana and one is through Tantra Sadhana. So Aghoris are also considered as Tantra Sadhaks. So he was a Tantra Sadhak. He knew Tantra Vidya, he also knew Mantra Vidya. So there is a very famous temple in Kolkata called Dakshineshwar. You may have visited that temple also. There is a Kali Murti in that temple. Ramakrishna Paramhans was the priest of that particular temple. And he was a very enlightened soul, very different from other normal human beings. Swami Vivekananda, when he was a child, his name was Naren. His name was Narendra, was his real name. Yes. So Naren, he was called Naren affectionately by his parents. He was a very different child right from childhood. So at the age of 4 or 5, he would go into the jungle and he would meditate over there. Children don't even know aim of meditation at the age of 4 or 5. He would go and sit and close his eyes and meditate. Once it so happened that a cobra snake came in front of him when he was meditating. And all the other children who were playing around him, they ran to his house to call his parents. They were scared of the snake, so they went rushed to call his parents. And his house was a good 1 kilometer away from that jungle. By the time his parents came, they thought he's already dead. The cobra would have already bitten him. And when they reached there, he was in intense meditation, Swami Vivekananda. And the cobra was sitting like this, 1 feet away from him, ready to pounce on him. And his parents and everybody else witnessed this. He opened his eyes and looked into the eyes of the cobra. A child, 5 years old, he should have just frozen to death, seeing a cobra 1 feet away from him. He looked into the eyes of the cobra without winking. He looked for about 1 minute into the face of the cobra. And everybody is waiting. Now the cobra will bite him. Now the cobra will bite him. 1 minute of eye contact, and the cobra just put his head down and slithered away. The cobra could not stand the power of his vision. With his eyes, he scared the cobra. That's where people realize that this person is different material. He is not like a normal child. And he used to regularly meditate. And people think that he was a great believer in God. Till he was 22 years old, he was the biggest atheist on earth. Would you believe that? Swami Vivekananda never believed in God. He asked his parents, where is God? What is God? So his parents said, sorry, we cannot explain where God is. I have not seen God, but we have all experienced God, and God exists in the temples, in the idols. You would go and say these idols don't have God in it. They are just a putla of clay or putla of mud. How can you say there is God? Sitting, show me God. If God exists, show me God. So his parents could not answer that question. Till the age of 21, he went here and there. He came to Calcutta. He was living in a village in West Bengal. Came to Calcutta. He went to churches. He went to mosques. He went to Gurudwara. So many different places, asking this question to learned people. Have you seen God? Have you seen God? Have you seen God? And all the priests, all the fathers, all the qazis, they said, sorry, we have experienced God. We have not seen God with our eyes. If you have not seen God, sorry, I don't believe in God. After that, somebody told him, why don't you go and meet Ramakrishna Paramhans? He is a priest in this temple, Dakshineshwar temple, and people say that he has seen God. He has witnessed God. So he went and met Ramakrishna Paramhans. And the moment Ramakrishna Paramhans saw him, he said, come Naren, I was waiting for you. And this fellow was shocked. How does he know my name? I have just come for the first time. Ramakrishna Paramhans already knew his name. He said, come, sit here. You want to see God? Before Naren could ask him that question, have you seen God? You want to see God? I will show you God today. Come with me. And Ramakrishna Paramhans never kept anybody with him when he would do offerings in the temple. So every day, 2 times, once in the afternoon and once at night, Naivedya was offered to the God. What he would do, he would close the doors of the temple and he would go and offer the Naivedya. And after half an hour, he would come out with an empty plate and tell the world that God has, Ma has eaten. He used to see Ma Kali as his mother. Ma has eaten the food. So people would think he's mad, he's crazy. He goes inside, closes the door, he eats food on his own, comes out and says, Ma has eaten the food. So, and he would never take anybody inside the temple. So many people said, why don't you take us in to see whether Ma is really eating the food or not? He said, no, sorry, it's between me and Ma, you cannot come. You don't have the rights to come into the temple. This evening, he took Naren specifically into the temple. He said, only Naren can accompany me. He entered with the plate in his hand. He entered. He sat in front of the idol and started calling Ma Kali, Ma Esho. Ma Esho. Esho means come in Bengali. And in 2 to 3 minutes, Naren, he was standing on the other corner of the temple at the door. He sees an apparition coming out of the idol, sitting in front of Ramakrishna and actually eating from the plate. And Ramakrishna feeding that lady. She was definitely not in flesh and blood, it was like a shadow. And he's feeding that lady. And just as a child gives an account of the day to his mother at the end of the day, "Ma, school mein ye hua, aisa hua, aisa kiya main." Like that, he was talking about all the small things which had happened in his life. In 15 minutes, that the whole plate was empty. He could see her feeding food. And after that, once the plate was empty, the apparition once again went into the idol. And Swami Vivekananda was stunned. He did not know how to react. He had just seen something which was so unbelievable. So he asked Ramakrishna, what did you do? Was this black magic? Was this Tantra Vidya? What did you do? He said, I have shown you Ma. You wanted to see Ma, right? You wanted to see God. I see God on a regular basis. Every day there was Ma sitting in front of you, and you don't want to believe what you saw with your own eyes. So I said, sorry, this is something different. This is not I don't believe you. But Ramakrishna said, nothing doing. Hereafter, you are my disciple and you are going to stay with me. So he agreed to stay at Dakshineshwar. He became the assistant to Ramakrishna. Now there was also a saying somewhere that Ramakrishna Paramhans was allergic to money. He could not touch money. The moment he touched money, his body would go up. So Swami Vivekananda did test number 2. One night, he went into his room and put a small half anna or 1 anna coin below his pillow. And he came out. And nobody saw that. The moment Ramakrishna Paramhans slept on his bed, he started screaming, and Vivekananda was standing outside his room because he wanted to test what is going to happen. He started screaming and he saw Ramakrishna rushing into the bathroom and pouring a bucket full of water over his body, and he could see blisters all over his body. And he was screaming at the top of his voice, Ramakrishna, who has kept money on my bed? His bed was searched and that 1 anna coin was found. That's where Swami Vivekananda fell on his feet and said, now I realize what you are. That was Ramakrishna Paramhans. In fact, there is one more story this is the greatest story that exists. Exactly that temple, that idol is still there in that temple. Once it so happened that while he was doing some puja, one of the hands of the temple of the idol broke. And in Hindu temples, you don't keep a khandit murti. A murti which has broken has to be immediately thrown into water. So the village people said, let's immerse her into water and let's put a new idol in place of this one. He said, are you crazy? तुम्हारे माँ का हाथ टूट जाएगा तो तुम माँ को फेंक के नया माँ लेके आओगे? It's just that her hand has broken. I will mend her hand in 2 days. Just give me 2 days time. He said, are you crazy? Are you mad? This is an idol. There is no Ma here. This is just a symbol of Ma. You have lost it completely. He said, you don't want to give me 48 hours? Give me 24 hours. Only for 24 hours, don't immerse this idol. Leave it between me and Ma. Within 24 hours, Ma will be intact. He took a tape, a bandage tape. He put medicine on that hand, fixed that hand, and put a tape around it. Everybody was laughing at him. He's gone mad, he's crazy, he's lost it completely. Next day, after 24 hours, the whole village came to witness what was to happen thereafter. The collector, the British collector, he himself came to see what is going to happen, because the news, this news had spread like wildfire. Everybody knew that there was this one crazy fellow called Ramakrishna Paramahansa who could do weird things. So collector himself came, and in the presence of collector, that tape was opened. The moment that tape was opened, the hand was as intact as ever. There was no crack, nothing. Immediately they called a murtikar, a person who makes murti, to check whether he had played some game, whether he had applied some adhesive or something and just fixed that particular hand. And in those days, idols were made of mud. Today idols are made of POP. In POP you can do fudging. A broken hand can also be fixed again. In mud, something once broken, an earthen pot of mud, if once it is broken, can you fix it back? Without, the crack will be seen. You may try doing and fixing it back, but the crack will always be seen. The murtikar saw that hand. He said, this murti has never broken. It is not possible that this murti has ever broken, because if somebody had fixed it, firstly you need a karigar to fix a hand. Even if you have got a karigar, and I am the only karigar in this village, and they could not have got any other karigar from any other village, it's impossible to fix it like that. So that was Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So he was also considered as a bodhisattva. In fact, they were the people instrumental in giving birth to this cult of Ramakrishna Mission. He gave birth to Ramakrishna Mission after Ramakrishna Paramahansa's death. So these people are called bodhisattvas.